Hi, it's State Representative Gloria Johnson from House District 13, and I'm here to talk to you some more about vouchers. The reason we have to continue to talk about it is moving through the House and the Senate, and the thing is, every time it goes before a different body, it morphs or changes. This is a shape-shifting bill that they change every time it goes to a new body or a new committee because they're trying to make sure they can get the votes from that group of people. So they change it in order to get the votes. One of the last changes was sort of a rural buyout. So a lot of the counties, the rural folks aren't happy with it. They thrown a little bit of cash in there for those rural counties and to make them a little bit happier about it, and they've got some of those votes. Some people that typically do not vote for vouchers in the rural areas are going to vote for them this time because they got a little payoff in their county. But the thing about it is, this is going to affect everyone. This is going to be money that's coming out of all of our counties, and it's really tricky, folks. There is so much fraud and abuse with this type of voucher, more than we've ever seen before. And the reality is, I've got a list here of some of the things that vouchers have been used for. These ESA vouchers have been used for. The money has been used for Mercedes-Benz cars, taxpayer-funded abortions, HD TVs, smartphones, tickets to comedy shows, store gift cards, makeup, snow globes, and sock monkeys. Yes, you heard me, sock monkeys. Who's going to monitor this fraud? When we've got 30,000 of these ESAs across the state, who's going to monitor that and see if folks are spending the money the right way and seeing if their kids are actually getting the education that they so desperately need and deserve? The other part of that is some of the misuse might not necessarily be intentional fraud, but I think of a lot of the families that I worked with and desperate situations, working a couple of jobs, no insurance, not able to afford medicine for moms, can't buy mom's insulin. Would you do something desperate? Maybe take your child out of school and with the intention of homeschooling them because you need money for medicine or groceries or electricity bill? I don't know, but I think that it sets it up for things like that to happen. And this is just not how we should be spending our public school tax dollars. Right now, you can have an income up to $100,000 and still receive these vouchers. And the reality is at about $7,500 per student, there are very few private schools in Knoxville where that's enough money to attend that school. So you're going to have to be able to pay for the rest of that, the balance of that education. You're going to have to be able to buy the uniforms. Those schools don't have free lunch. Something's going to have to change there. So what we're finding out in states across the country is they say that these are intended for low-income children who are stuck in a poor-performing school, but the reality is more than 60% of the folks in these states never sent their child to public school. It is just financing the private school education of middle and upper middle class students. And that's what we're finding out across the board. There's also no statistically significant evidence that vouchers work for our students. That is the reality, and that's what we're facing. I have a handy chart here that talks about the increase in taxes in every county. So there will be an increase in taxes in every single county when this voucher bill is enacted, and especially when it gets funded up to its highest level. What we find typically as well is that they just expand it every year. Those folks in the rural areas who think that they're cut out of this and it's not going to matter to them, the amount of dollars coming to them is going to be less, and that's a fact. And we have statistics and we have the proof to back that up. But as we go along, they're going to open it up to our rural districts, and it's going to be less and less money for those rural public schools that are already struggling. The answer here, folks, is that we invest in our children and invest in all 1 million students in Tennessee. Invest in every one of them and make sure that our public schools are fully funded and equitably funded so that every school gives a child an opportunity to learn. I'm really tired of hearing this failing school idea. We don't have failing schools. We have struggling communities and kids who are struggling. And the way that we address this problem is not by picking up a child and taking him out of his neighborhood to go to a private school, not separating and dividing communities. The way that we fix this problem is create community schools like we've done in Knoxville. And that is keep the school open in the evening from 3 to 7, provide tutoring and mentoring for the kids, art, music, all sorts of circus, all sorts of enrichment in the evenings. Let the parents come in for GED classes. Let the parents come in to learn computer skills, improve the skills that they have so that they can improve their careers and jobs in the future. And really invest in a community rather than separating kids and farming them out to other parts of the community. Because the reality is, if we invest in every public school with equity and we raise the wage so that everyone who's working a hard 40-hour a week makes a good living, and provide health care, make sure everyone has access to health care, every public school would be a great school. And there wouldn't be a need to try out an idea that has no proven research to back it up. We don't have failing schools because the reality is over the past 20 years, we've never seen more kids graduate. We've never seen more kids score as high as they do on ACTs. We've never had more kids going to college, and that's kids of color, that's female students, everybody, an increase of kids going to college. We've never seen such a low dropout rate. Our schools aren't failing, we are failing some communities in bringing their school up to where it needs to be. And these vouchers would only make that far worse. And I don't want to hear this idea that people like to compare it to business. Well, you have to compete. Schools don't thrive by competition. Schools thrive with collaboration. We don't want to make winners and losers out of kids. That's what you're talking about when you're talking competition. You're talking about creating winners and losers. We don't want to make winners and losers of our kids. We want to collaborate so that every single child has a great opportunity and every single child has the ability to get a great education, become a success, and be a contributor to their community. If you'd like to hear more about vouchers, because there's always more, you can tune into my Facebook Live on Saturday at 10 a.m. It's State Representative Gloria Johnson is the page. I also have a personal page, Gloria Johnson, but I'll be doing it on my State Representative page. And tune in Saturday morning at 10 a.m. I'll take questions. You'll be able to send questions in the comments, and I'll happily answer your questions. And we can talk a little bit more about it so that you understand it. I hope you will listen and ask questions if you have them. And please contact your representatives, contact your senators. It looks like they're getting close to getting the votes for this bill, and it's really going to cause dramatic problems for our public schools. Thanks so much. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on Facebook.